The African continent is unlike any other. It wouldn't be wrong to say that Africa is one of the most beautiful, naturally and culturally enriched places on the planet. Several unfathomable things have been discovered in this astonishing wonderland. From friendly reptiles to rare birds and incredulous death rituals, all sorts of bizarre things can be found in Africa. In today's video, we'll introduce you to some of the most shocking things discovered in the extraordinary landscape of this stunning continent. So make sure to watch it till the end and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. The lost city of Heracleion Thonis. This ancient city located close to Alexandria was once the greatest international trade port of Egypt. But the glorious city sank to the bottom of the sea when it was struck by disaster back in the 8th century AD. The city remained submerged 150 feet below the water surface until being rediscovered by French archaeologist Frank Goriot in 2000. Frank had dived underwater to search for 18th century warships, but he discovered something much bigger and exceptional. He noticed a face peering out from a watery shadow and realized that it belonged to the ancient city that sank. The lost treasure contained around 64 ships, 7,000 anchors, 16-foot-tall statues, remains of an ancient Egyptian god's temple, and an immense amount of gold coins. So Frank truly did strike gold. Mysterious sea creature. When this strange creature washed up on shore, people were confused. They would not say for sure whether it was a dolphin or a whale or something else entirely, but later it was discovered that the carcass belonged to a rare species of a Cuvier's beaked whale. It's an incredibly rare and last-of-its-kind animal. It was discovered by researchers of the Namibian Dolphin Project. It was around 23 feet long and it weighed a whopping 8,818 pounds. These whales are considered the deepest diving mammals and can dive up to depths of 10,000 feet. Dufuna Canoe. This old sunken canoe is regarded as Africa's oldest known boat. It's considered the third oldest one in the world. The Dufuna Canoe was found in 1987 by a man named Fulani herdsman who was digging a 5-meter deep well in the Funa village. The boat was analysed in detail and several radioactive tests were conducted on it in numerous American and European universities. These experiments and tests revealed that the Dufuna boat is almost 8,000 years old. Prehistoric shark. This ancient-looking aquatic animal is around 5.2 feet long and looks a lot like a primitive shark. This strange fish was found lurking at a depth of 1,968 feet below the surface. It was transported to a marine park to keep it alive. But the shark was just too old and could not live for long. Soon after being brought to the marine park, it passed away. Maybe she was just tired of the world. Sacred crocodiles. No one in their right minds would assume that crocodiles can ever be friends, but these African crocodiles might surprise you. Almost 20 miles away from the capital in Vasul, there are 100 friendly crocodiles. According to legend, these strangely harmless crocodiles let the woman take water from their lake during the water shortage crisis. Some local villagers hold them in high regard and consider them holy creatures. These crocodiles have never harmed anyone and are celebrated by the locals every year who offer sacrifices as they believe these crocodiles can bless them with health, prosperity and a good harvest. Four-legged whales. Marine scientists have discovered that ancient whales may have looked a lot different from the modern-day whales. They believe they could have walked. An Egyptian scientist discovered the ancient whale ancestor believed to be from 43 million years ago in 2021. The remains of this ancient whale had 4 legs and a huge body, almost the size of an African bush elephant. According to reports, these prehistoric whales were not very fast swimmers, so maybe they weren't so great at brisk walking and running either. Desert meets the ocean. The Namib Desert in the southern part of Africa has a mind-blowing colour glimpse that varies from orange to pink. It also boasts the tallest sand dune on Earth. It's believed by some to be 55 million years old, and it meets the Atlantic Ocean, forming a strange landscape where the water and desert collide. The desert experiences extremes of both temperatures that can go as high as 45 degrees in summer and below zero at night. People and most animal species cannot survive here, but some rodents, antelope, ostrich, and a few birds have managed to make it their home. Eggs growing out of a plant. This man from Ghana shared a video that showed a plant with actual eggs hanging from it. That's definitely not a regular eggplant all the vegans love. These are eggs that have a yolk and egg white inside them. Maybe we're one step closer to growing money on trees too. Elephant goo gin. Believe it or not, this bizarre elephant goo gin is a delicacy that's considered to be one of the most delicious gins. Les Ansley, a man from South Africa, introduced the world to a strange recipe for making gin. Ansley explained that elephants can only digest 30% of their food and the rest of it passes out, so they actually chase the elephant and collect its dung, and after making a base gin, infuse it with dry elephant dung. It sounds disgusting, but Ansley said 15% of the sales profit goes to orphanages for baby elephants. Mosquito patty burgers. In this place called Lake Victoria, located in Africa, almost 264 million people were found to be malnourished and another 250 million infected with malaria. The situation was quite severe, but the locals found a unique solution that targeted both the problems. They capture thousands of mosquitoes annually during the rainy season. The mosquitoes are then mashed into a pulp that's made into patties, and hamburgers are then made from the patties. It's quite a clever way to add some extra protein to the diet. The voodoo ritual. Voodoo is often considered a dark and dangerous tradition, but the people from West Africa, Togo, have completely changed its meaning. They regard it as a path towards health, progress, and wealth. The largest voodoo market offers snakes, duck heads, shrunken leopard heads, human skulls, dry owls, and many other essentials you may need to perform a voodoo ritual. The voodoo priest performs his magic and decides a perfect cure to please the divine forces, who allegedly grant their wishes in return. Largest nest. Weavers are a unique kind of bird that build huge nests that have numerous different chambers, entrances, and tunnels. They also invite other birds such as owls and eagles to share the nest with them. These colossal nests often stay occupied for hundreds of years. The bird droppings help enrich the soil, which in turn grows more leaves that shelter the nest in hot summers. These nests also protect the birds from venomous snakes. The nests are a true example of harmony. World's oldest cheese. This group of archaeologists discovered something unbelievable while exploring the tomb of an ancient high-ranking Egyptian official. They stumbled upon pots full of solid white mass. Later, analysis revealed that this white substance was actually cheese. It was around 3,200 years old, and so far no one knows how it tastes, and scientists don't think anyone should try it. Sky stones. Bought a weird-looking blue stone there. When he examined it in detail, Angelo realized it was different from all the other minerals that exist in the world. The stone possessed a few strange characteristics. When observed from a microscope, the blue tinge vanishes and it doesn't respond to high temperatures. Even acids couldn't harm it. Studies revealed that 77.17% of it is made of oxygen, calcium, carbon, and other unknown organic substances. No one knows where these sky stones originated, according to reports, but they are believed to be at least 55,000 years old. Danakil Desert. This huge depression in Africa, called the Danakil Depression, is around 400 feet below sea level. It's separated by live volcanoes. Because of its hot climate, the Danakil Desert is regarded as the most uninhabitable place on the planet. It's covered with 10 tons of salt. The water entering this depression evaporates because of its extreme environment. It's also one of the most remote places on Earth. The rain and seawater reacting with the volcanic minerals give the lake its beautiful, vibrant colors. The oldest human fossil. A team of archaeologists found the oldest known human fossil in Ethiopia back in 2013. The fossil is a piece of human jaw believed by some to belong to some of the first of our ancestors. In the opinion of the archaeologists, it's at least 2.75 to 2.8 million years old. The research team lead told the news that this discovery is an insight into some of the vital transitions of human evolution. Ancient giant footprints. This colossal 4-foot-long footprint went viral recently. It doesn't seem like a dinosaur footprint. In fact, it looks like a human footprint, but no humans on Earth should have been tall enough to have such a big foot. It was found in Umpuluzi, South Africa. Some scientists think that the rocks here date back hundreds of millions of years ago, and there are massive footprints. Maybe at some point in history the Earth was inhabited by giants? What do you think? Fantasy coffins. These bizarre coffins are mostly sold to foreigners and can cost up to a whopping $15,000. Very few craftsmen in Ghana have mastered this rare and precious art. They make beautiful, artistic coffins and are probably trying to spread a positive message with this, although we don't think a nice artsy coffin would make a dead man feel any better. Red and blonde-haired mummies. Human hair actually contains a mixture of chemicals. These include black, brown, and yellow eumelanin and red pheomelanin. Because the mummies are buried quite deep under extreme conditions, the eumelanin tends to disintegrate faster than the pheomelanin. This causes the hair of the mummies to have a reddish tone. Unfortunately, they didn't have dyed hair. In fact, it's just a consequence of the Egyptian mummification process. Tong Child. A group of miners were digging in the Tonga quarry located in South Africa in 1924. They discovered this ancient skull and handed it over to the managing director of the quarry. The manager then gave it to his son, whose friend was working with an anthropologist named Raymond Dart. The friend and Raymond examined this weird-looking skull, and Raymond named it the Tonga Child. He believed that it belonged to a now extinct species that lived around 2 to 3 million years ago. The species is called Australopithecus africanus, which means southern ape of Africa. The Adam's Calendar. These stones, arranged in a strange formation, are meant to release healing energy because of magnetic forces. Anyone who stands in the center of this circle would be healed, according to the legend. The stones were laid so that when the sun rises, they follow its revolution year-round and keep track of it. That's why they're called Adam's Calendar. Experts believe these are at least 75,000 years old. Each stone weighs around 5 tons. These are regarded as some of the oldest and heaviest man-made structures in human history. The Blue Eye of Sahara. This extraordinary landmark can be seen from a satellite. It's a huge circular feature known as the Eye of the Sahara. The mysterious site is located in Mauritania. Archaeologists believe that it's at least 100 million years old. The large geological formation is a highly symmetrical, geologically collapsed dome and mimics spiral sand orbits. Some people think it formed because of erosion, but scientists aren't quite sure and are trying to figure out how these perfectly spaced circles came into being naturally. Screaming mummies. This mummy was discovered by archaeologists in 1881, and the expression on its face made it look like it had been screaming in pain when it died. The mummy was subjected to several medical and scientific tests. The results of these tests revealed that the mummy most likely belonged to Pharaoh Ramses III. He was regarded as one of the most dominant pharaohs of his time. He was forced to take his own life for being involved in his father's assassination. Legend reveals that the priest had refused to mummify his body, and it was instead wrapped in sheepskin. Before moving to number 1 on this list, take a look at this whale. This dead pair of conjoined whales was discovered alive on the shore, but the poor creatures died after a few hours. There wasn't any physical evidence suggesting what caused this mutation in the calves. The fishermen who caught these grey whale calves believe they were miscarried because of their disability. But scientists think even if the whales had survived to become adults, they would not have been able to stay alive in the ocean for long. World's only poisonous furred rats. The 14-inch long furry rodent looks a lot like a rabbit, but these strange furry animals are capable of eating and digesting poisonous plants and trees. They're also able to store these for emergencies. Whenever these rats sense danger, they spur the toxins on their own fur, and in case of a confrontation with an enemy, they can severely harm the opponent. But if the enemy moves along without bothering them, the rats tend to die from their own poison. These were some of the most astonishing discoveries from Africa. Tell us in the comments which one fascinated you the most, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you all next time.